This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com. Damien writes, was Test ever considered for a main event push? He was up against the McMahon-Helmsley era in late 99, beginning 2000, and was the Iron Man of the Rumble in 2000, but he was never a main event guy.
I think that we looked at Test, with high hopes of being a main event guy. I think that probably the thing that hurt Test in some ways in the very beginning was Vince Russo making a comparison to him and Kevin. He's going to be the next Kevin Nash, bro. Look at him. And I think to Sean and everybody, it was like, he's no Kevin Nash. But Test was young. And at that time, Test came in very young with very little experience. And I think somebody asked him, hey, man, how many matches have you had? And he counted and I think he had 21 matches. This fucking guy's had 21 matches and he's in the main event on Raw. But I do think that, in some ways that was good. Just sometimes, man, you got to just get new talent out there and go. He had a great look, had some charisma, natural charisma. But we did have high hopes for Test early on.
Brian writes, when new wrestlers enter the locker room in a new territory, do they introduce themselves as their working name or real name? Also, do they call other wrestlers by their working name when they met them?
It depends. It depends on who you are and who you're talking to. Some guys do, some guys don't. I think that it is common courtesy when you walk into any room where you don't know people. And let's say, for example, you walk into a meeting in your office. And there are people in the meeting that you don't know. But you're walking in the meeting. Walk around the room and introduce yourself. Say, hey, I'm Joe Beavens. How you doing? I'm Matt Burns. Just introduce yourself. I think that's just common courtesy that is lost in this generation of people that, well, I'm here, so they should assume they know who the hell I am and why I'm here. But introduce yourself. Tell people what you do. Hey, what do you do, man? How can we help each other? Because we're obviously in the same meeting together, so we're going to be talking about stuff. I'd love to know, what side of the table you're on and where you're coming from. So, yes, walking into the locker room, I do think it's important. Most times, new guys would walk around just for nothing else other than to introduce themselves and say, hey, Joe Beavens.
J.M. Wagner wants to know, when Sean Waltman returned to the WWE in 1998, was anyone in the office against him coming in? You mentioned years later, some in the office were against Hall and Nash returning in 2002 due to their clique past. Did that apply to Sean Waltman?
I think that there was a little bit of trepidation just because of, how Sean had left before. He left with those guys and being down there. But at the same time, it was, hey, man, let's give him a chance. Let's go. I don't think Sean carried as much baggage as the rest of the guys did.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.